Hello guys, welcome to this video, and in this video we're going to be reviewing units 3.1 to 3.7 on the course AP Precalculus. This is going to be about sinusoidal functions, so let's get ready. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe guys, and thank you guys. Please enjoy the video. So we have the figure shows the graph of a sinusoidal function f. What are the values of the period and the amplitude of f? Okay. So we have this sinusoidal function, and they're wanting to find us the period and the amplitude, okay? So how do we find the period? Remember guys, the period is just, for example, let's say we start here, right? So we start here. The period is just from here to here, right there. And you just count from 0 to 6. So the period for this one is going to be 6, okay? You could also do from, let's say you have, these are not really easy points, so I wouldn't really recommend it. But let's say you could, this is like 1.5, and this is right here on, the maximum. You could do from maximum to maximum, from here to, from midline to midline, and then you can do from minimum to minimum, whatever is easier for you. Me personally, I would use these ones, but it's really just up to you guys. So, you could do maximum to maximum, which is 1.5 to 7.5. Obviously, if you subtract this 1.5, you get 6, and that's the period, okay? So the period is, let me just erase this like that, is going to be 6, okay? So we already know that, A and B are wrong because the period is going to be 6. Now we just have to find the amplitude. So the amplitude, remember, we just have to find the midline. So let's see what the midline is. So in here, the midline is 1, and let me tell you why it's 1, guys. So when you look at the maximum, so the maximum right here is 5, right? So it's 5, and then the minimum is going to be -3. So that's the max, and the minimum is -3. Okay, you can literally just add these together. You're gonna get -3 plus 5, and then you can just divide them by 2. When you add -3 and 5, you get 2. Divided by 2, you get 1. So that's our D value, or our midline. And from 1 to 5, you add 4. And from 1 to -3, minus 4. So our amplitude is 4. So the answer is C. Okay, so let's move on to the next problem. Okay guys, let's take a look at this problem. Number 2, the figure shows the graph of a sinusoidal function. What are the values of the period and the amplitude? This is the same problem we just did before, just with different numbers. Okay, so let's look at the period first. The period is the easiest to find. Okay, so from 0, see from here to here, it's 4. The period is 4 right there. You can do from maximum, from 1 to 5. That's 1 period right there. That's 4. That's the period. Okay, so the period is 4. Okay, so that means that A and B are wrong. It can only be C and D. Now we just need to find the amplitude. So the maximum is 3 right here. The minimum is 3. Okay, so from 0, so our midline, because 3 and -3, right? Our midline is going to be 0. That's our D value, right? You add 3, you get, you add 3 to 0, you get 3. You minus 3 to 0, you get -3. Our amplitude is 3 because it's going by 3. By the way, the amplitude can never be negative. Amplitude cannot be negative. It's always going to be positive, okay? The A value is the one that can be negative or positive, okay? But not the amplitude. Okay guys, let's look at this one, number 3. These are pretty easy guys, but we are going to be seeing some harder problems as we move on. Okay, so let's look at this one. So we have sinusoidal function k right here. What are the values of the period and amplitude of k? Okay, so let's look at the period here. So we're going to do, let's say, so we have this one from maximum right here, it's maximum, to another maximum. What's that? It's like 2 pi, or not. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. That's actually 1 pi. I don't know why. It's it's just pi. Okay, because from pi to 2 pi, it's pi. Okay. You can also do it from here, from the 0 to pi. That's pi. Okay. The period is pi. So A and B are wrong. Okay, and it's either C or D. I think you guys are starting to see a pattern on these. Okay. So let's see the amplitude. Okay. So we just need to identify what the midline is, and here you see that the maximum is 3 and the minimum is -1. So we just have to find the midline. So from 1 to -1 is -2, and from 1 to 3 is +2. So our amplitude is going to be 2. Okay, guys, let's get right into this one. So let's get right into number 11. Okay, so in 11, we have saying that in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the height of the tide and fee is modeled by the function h, which is this function right here. Based on this model, which of the following is true? So it's saying that the maximum height of the tide is 4.7 feet. Well, let's try that out. So it's saying the maximum. So we have an amplitude right here of we have a midline of 2.6. So we're gonna start from the midline and we're gonna add 2.1, which is the amplitude to it. That's going to give us 4.7. That's actually right. That actually is our maximum height. So it's just a good so now I think A is our answer, but these other ones could be right too. Let's just check, right? Okay, so it's saying that B is saying that the maximum height of the tide occurs at t equals 1 hour. So this one is shifted 1 unit to the right, 1 to the right. And it's saying that the maximum height of the tide occurs at t equals. So, okay, so this is a sine graph, okay? So what does that mean? So that means that our graph is going to look like that. So the maximum is not going to be at t equals 1 hour. This right here is going to be at t equals 1 hour, but not our maximum. Our maximum is going to be on another point, okay? So let's just make kind of like a graph here. You can see this is our midline right there, and this is our 1. That's our t equals 1. The maximum doesn't go into another interval, right? So this is wrong. So it's saying that the minimum height of the tide is 2.6 feet, and that's wrong because that's our our midline, and the minimum height of the tide occurs at t equals 1 hour. We already understand that the minimum nor the maximum can occur at t equals 1. The midline occurs at t equals 1 because it's a sine function. It's starting from the midline, okay? So this is also wrong, and the only answer that leaves us is A. Okay, guys, so let's get right into number 13 right here. So this one is saying that we have a function that is defined by f of x as a sine. So this is a sine function. Okay, and then we have points 4, 1 and 8, 5. So this is the minimum. So this is the minimum value. So we have that's the minimum. This is the maximum. Okay, that's when you see respectively, that's what it means. It means that this is the minimum and the maximum is this one. Okay, so that's what it means, respectively. If you don't know what respectively means. Okay, so what are the values of A and D? So right here, we're just trying to find the amplitude in the midline. So, okay, so basically, let me graph this. So if you want to, you could do this in your head and just, visualize it, but sometimes it's better to just make a graph if you don't understand. So we have 4, so let's say this is 4 right here, and then this is 1. So we have 4, 1, then we have like 8 right here, and we have like 5 right here, right? This is like, okay, this is kind of a bad, no, actually this is good, whatever, right? Yeah. And then we have 8, 5 right there, okay? So this would be a graph that kind of goes like this, whatever, this is really bad, but it kind of goes like that, right? So this is our, this is our minimum, and this is our maximum, whatever, okay? So we need to find the values of the amplitude and the midline. So remember, the midline is just what's in between 1 and 5, because that's our y value. So what's in between 1 and 5? Well, you should get 3, because if you add 5 plus 1 divided by 2, you should get 6 divided by 2. That's 3. So our midline is going to be 3. So A and C are wrong. It's going to be B or D. And our amplitude, well, it's easy. From 3 to get to 5, you add plus 2. From 3 to get to 1, you subtract 2. So it's going to be, your amplitude is going to be 2 and 3. So it's going to be B. Okay guys, thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment on anything that you need help with, and later video ideas and what you guys are struggling in. Okay guys, so thanks for watching, thanks for sticking around to the end, and have a good one.